Where would I buy if I had to in Kelmscott, Western Australia? So I had to look down at my notes to make sure I don't mispronounce that, because I am from Tasmania and I do generally get you mainlanders all mixed up with the suburb names. So Kelmscott in WA, Kelmscott. Let's go in here. Now, this is not saying that we are investing here or that it's even worthy of our attention. It's saying to us, this type of analysis is, if we had to, where would we buy here? So overall, it's telling us that the algorithm is saying we are in the optimum buying window, right? I like to see, and I'm going to firstly to low days of supply. That is showing that the market is very healthy and turning over correctly. It's over 100 days of supply, which is quite high, showing that there might not be much steam in this market, and it is quite stable, if not increasing over the last 12 months. So potentially, we're in a consolidation phase in this market. Let's have a look at vacancy rates, very low, yields 4.7. It seems high on a national level, but it's actually lower than its surrounding suburbs. So that's a bit of a hint. Does it have that broad rental demand that might lead to strong property price growth? Vendor discounting, just over, properties selling for what their asking price is. Just positive, slightly positive discounting. Properties selling for slightly more, 1.3% more than the asking price. That's at an average. It's not bullish, it's not bearish, it's not consolidating, it's not really heating up. That's just a figure that we can't really take much indication from. I like to see 2 out of every 3 owner occupiers in a suburb. That's good here. Recent price growth has been flatlined. Okay, it's been going up and down, but just for the last little while, it has been flat. That does tell us that it might have been consolidating recently, ready for another upswing. I probably wouldn't think so. I would like to see days of supply decreasing. I would like to see yields increasing, right? So they have actually come off a top here of 5.4. I would like to see days of supply decreasing to around 80. I would like to see yields coming up over 5.3% before I would even consider coming into this market. But if we had to, remember, what about the street level? Remember, I like to see lots of owner occupiers, 2 out of every 3 people as owner occupiers. We're pretty much right across the whole suburb here, apart from those little pockets there in the middle. So that's all right. We want to get a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house in Kelmscott, as we do for the whole of Armadale. It is a satellite. It is an outer suburban area of a key capital city. You don't really want to buy a unit 30 kilometres from a CBD. Okay, you need to think about this. Land is what appreciates, buildings depreciate, and you are highly sensitive to that when you're on the periphery, because guess what? The further you go out from the middle, the more land you get, right? It exponentially grows, or almost, I guess. Okay, so we want to be very focused here on large land components and houses on that land. We don't want to buy a unit in a unit block close to the train station, because that's not very scarce. But here we don't have really many issues. Once again, we do have that pocket through the middle with lots of units, but that's where the renters are as well. Sold prices, this pocket over here, higher than average sold prices. It's going to be interesting to see what rents are doing there. Okay, also higher than average rents, and sporadic yields. This is the cluster, guys, that I'm really jumping out at. Lots of high renting streets, high yielding streets, surrounded by other high yielding streets. Let me just have a look at that pocket once again. So that's sort of not moving the dial too much. Let's see if we can find, this might be the investment heartland here, of maybe not these ones that are on the lower side, the 2s or the 3s out of 10 in terms of price, but the middle market through there with above average rents and above average yields, that's a really powerful combination, especially when we have a lot of owner occupiers in them. So those areas through here with 70% owner occupiers with above average yields is a very powerful combination. That's probably where I'd be focusing my attention. Just beware that we do have some public housing, and we have a lot of public housing through that middle pocket there. All right. So with 7 or 8% public housing at a street level, we do need to be careful we're not surrounded by public housing immediately next door over the road. You know, talk to the local property manager and ask them what they think of that street, about this property. Is it going to be a problem? So if I had to buy in this area, I probably would be focusing my attention over onto this southwest pocket, and getting a little bit fussy with that street level, knowing that there is some public housing in the area.